Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of this past week's episode of Riverdale on the CW, which was Chapter 15, Nighthawks. Of course, being Season 2, Episode 2. So, I apologize for the lateness of this review, but, just went to Grand Rapids Comic-Con, and I'm still behind on a couple other shows, Arrow and Supernatural, and I got The Walking Dead starting up again Sunday, so I did want to do this video before I went to bed tonight, though. Also been getting into Slasher on Netflix. But, anyway, this episode I thought was pretty good. Not quite as engaging as the premiere, but, of course, the premiere is meant to do something different than the second episode of the season, and this episode does have, this season does have a much longer episode number than the first. Of course, going from just 13 episodes to 22. So of course the story is going to be a little bit more stretched out for this season. Although I still think it has a fine pace to it, Riverdale, I was really pleased with its, first season, the pacing of that. I thought it was pretty natural, but also had this extra, slight gloomy, chaotic feel to it. And I still think they've maintained that. I just think with 22 episodes they can pull it off. Of course there's a chance of getting, feeling a little bit played out eventually, and maybe it will be, but I think with the mystery they have here with the shooter, the killer, of course all the other little underhanded, ways, we'll say, going on in the town, they can justify 22 episodes if they really want to. There have been lesser shows that have done it, I'll just say that. Certain comic book based shows on TV, but anyway. I like this episode. And of course we're having Archie trying to make his dad breakfast, burning the toast, of course, classic. But of course, at the end of the first episode, we see the death of Miss Grundy, and of course, fairly early on in the episode, Archie and the others find out about it. And Archie still has mixed feelings about that because, of course, he did have some legitimate feelings for Miss Grundy. So because of their connection, he does feel saddened by that. But more than anything else, it just increases his paranoia and idea that the killer could be targeting him. Which is justified, and Archie's probably going to be right to some extent, but at the end of the episode we see, I didn't remember their names initially, but thanks to IGN's review, it is Midge and Moose, who are killed. They're shot to death in the car. So obviously this killer has some kind of larger agenda. Chances are he's probably hired by one of the families for some kind of long-term scheme, potentially, or something. It feels very, very Riverdale-like for something like that to be going on either way. Now it just pretty much means anyone could be a target, In ways Veronica's in danger, but maybe not in as much danger, I want to say. Because if for some reason the lodges did hire this guy, to make, do these killings, for example. I'm not saying it is the lodges, but they of course won't have their own daughter killed, at least not for a long time, at the very least, I'd hope. But with the risk of it being anyone, that kind of takes the lens off of her a little bit, maybe. No, what am I saying? Sorry, it's late. It's 4 a.m. right now. But what I mean is that with Archie not being the personal target most likely now, since it went to Moose and Midge, this killer isn't likely just to target Veronica because she's Archie's girlfriend. So if they were hired by, like I said, the lodges, they'd likely avoid Veronica for a while, or as much as they could. Anyway, that's all I want to say. Sorry that I got mixed up there. And of course, Jughead is, trying to do anything he can to, lower his father's sentence, which could be 20 years. And me, I'm just happy to continue to see more of Skeet Ulrich on the show. The guy's a very good actor. He and Jughead's dynamic and scenes were one of, if not the best things about Season 1, I think. But it's Betty here that actually gets a possible deal made with that. She basically ends up blackmailing Veronica with the footage of her father, not Veronica, excuse me, with blackmailing Cheryl, the footage of her father killing Jason, which I thought was very underhanded, very dark, dark Betty, if you want to say that. She was okay, I knew we were probably going to see that side of Betty again sooner or later. And the actress does a fine job most of the time, but for some reason, when she tries to come off real tough or cold, she reminds me of Felicity on Arrow, and that's not a good thing. And it was odd that Jughead didn't really question her tactics at all, and he seemed to be fully aware of what she was doing, so I found that a bit odd as well. I know Jughead's kind of going on a potentially darker path now with the Serpents, but they're not the worst, as we've seen. But it still seems like he would have questioned Betty's move there. And I was actually kind of on Cheryl's side on that. I thought that was a bit much for Betty to do that, especially when she supposedly cared about Cheryl at various times as well. But it's alright, I guess, and I'm all for more FP on the show, so whatever has to happen to make that work. I also really liked Veronica's parts in this episode with her father, and thought their scenes were pretty good. Of course, you want to believe that Herman Lodge is trying to make some kind of effort here like FP did, but no, not at all. Or at least not to as great of an extent. As we see, he actually buys Pops. Of course, Pops they're trying to keep open. They even get the Pussycats to do a performance there. They're pushing very hard on the mayor as well for it. But Herman Lodge basically tries to make this easy, sort of underhanded solution. He buys Pops. So yeah, Hermione again being that a more villainous character compared to the way she was in season 1. But at least they'll have Pops there for a while. But I'm sure it'll cause Veronica and her father to continue to butt heads along with her mother. Smithers has also disappeared, supposedly to take care of his mother, who's gotten very sick overseas. I won't be surprised if he stood up to Herman Lodge or was going to tell Veronica more, and then they killed him, potentially. But yeah, that part was pretty good as well. Veronica being my favorite character, I'm always pretty into, what she has to deal with. And of course, she's still trying to be there for Archie, which is good. So yeah, that was most of the episode there. Like I said, not as engaging as the premiere, but I didn't really expect it to be. I still enjoyed it. It's definitely a show I want to keep talking about every week. For some reason I really enjoy Riverdale. I'm fairly, engrossed in it. So I'm going to keep talking about it as soon as I can each week. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if I had to rate the episode, I would rate it, I'll give it like an 8.6 out of 10. I still liked it, thought it was pretty good. So yeah, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.